You see that bottle of cooking oil in your cupboard? There's a very good chance it's toxic when heated. Some of the biggest cooking oil brands in the UK sell heavily processed seed oils that break down at high temperatures. When used for frying or roasting, they form compounds linked to inflammation and cellular stress. Proper cooking oils should stay stable under heat and be extracted gently, not industrially stripped. Many of these oils are made with chemical solvents, bleached, deodorised, and stored in clear bottles that speed up oxidation. Then they're sold using labels like Pure and Heart Healthy. In the next few minutes, I'll expose 8 oils you should stop using, how they're really made, and which oils actually handle heat safely. At the end of this video, I'll teach you how to differentiate between these bad brands and the safe ones. Let's get into it. Number 8. Morrison's Savers Vegetable Oil. This is Morrison's budget range, designed for families trying to stretch their weekly shop as far as possible. The bright yellow label screams value. The price point is under £2 for a litre, and it sits right there on the bottom shelf next to all the other economy cooking oils. It's positioned as the sensible choice when you need oil for everyday cooking without breaking the bank. And thousands of people buy it every week thinking they're making a smart financial decision. The problem here is that Morrison Savers vegetable oil is industrially refined rapeseed oil extracted using hexane, a petroleum-based neurotoxic solvent. The seeds are crushed under extreme pressure, heated to temperatures that destroy any nutritional value, then treated with hexane to squeeze out every last drop of oil. After extraction, the oil is bleached to remove colour, neutralised to remove flavour, and deodorised using high heat to mask the rancid smell that develops during processing. What you're left with is heavily processed fat that bears no resemblance to anything you'd find in nature. Real oil should be pressed gently from seeds or fruits, retaining natural colour, flavour, and nutrients. This is industrial lubricant chemically treated to make it edible. You know that weird, slightly plasticky smell cheap cooking oil has when you first open the bottle? Like it doesn't smell of anything natural, just this vague chemical scent. That's the deodorizing process, trying to hide the fact that the oil has already started oxidizing before it even reaches your kitchen. Real oil smells like the plant it came from, and when you heat this oil to frying temperature, it breaks down into compounds called aldehydes and lipid peroxides. Your body struggles to process these substances. They contribute to inflammation at a cellular level. You're cooking your family's food in oil that becomes toxic when heated. Number 7. Sainsbury's vegetable oil. Sainsbury's positions itself as slightly more upmarket than ASDA or Tesco, somewhere between value and premium. Their own brand products are marketed as good quality at reasonable prices, appealing to middle-class shoppers who want better than budget, but can't quite stretch to Waitrose. The vegetable oil comes in a clear plastic bottle with simple branding, suggesting purity and quality. And people trust it because it's Sainsbury's, because the packaging looks clean, because surely a reputable supermarket wouldn't sell rubbish oil. The problem here is that Sainsbury's vegetable oil is refined rapeseed that undergoes the exact same industrial processing as every other supermarket oil. Hexane extraction, extreme heat, bleaching, neutralization, deodorization. The whole chemical treatment process that strips nutrients and creates an unstable product that oxidizes the moment it hits a hot pan. What Sainsbury's is selling you is refined rapeseed oil in a clear plastic bottle. The clear plastic lets UV light continue degrading the oil whilst it sits on the supermarket shelf. Proper oil comes in dark glass bottles specifically to protect it from light damage, but dark glass costs more than clear plastic. So supermarkets use plastic and accept that quality deteriorates before you even buy it. You know that slightly bitter, harsh taste you get when cooking with cheap vegetable oil, especially if you've heated it more than once. That's oxidized fatty acids. Your taste buds are detecting compounds that shouldn't be in your food. And Sainsbury's charges a premium compared to budget ranges. You're paying more because it's Sainsbury's brand, because the packaging looks nicer, because it's positioned as better quality. But check the processing methods. It's the same industrially refined rapeseed oil as Tesco or ASDA, just with fancier branding and an extra 50 pence on the price. Number 6. KTC vegetable oil. KTC is a brand you'll find in most UK supermarkets, particularly in the world foods aisle or near Asian cooking ingredients. It's popular in South Asian communities and has built a reputation for providing affordable cooking oil in large quantities. The big plastic bottles, often 5 litres or more, suggest value and practicality for families who cook a lot. And people buy it in bulk, thinking they're getting a good deal on quality cooking oil. The problem here is that KTC vegetable oil is made from genetically modified soybean oil, not rapeseed like most UK oils, but GMO soy imported from abroad. Soybean oil is one of the most heavily processed seed oils available, extracted using industrial methods, treated with chemicals, and refined until it's a neutral, flavourless fat with high omega-6 content that promotes inflammation when consumed regularly. GMO soy crops are engineered to withstand being sprayed with glyphosate-based herbicides. That means the soybeans used to make this oil have been doused in chemicals before harvest. Whilst refining is supposed to remove pesticide residues, studies have found traces remaining in the final product. You know how some cooking oils make everything taste slightly the same, like there's this underlying flavour that gets into every dish? Like it doesn't matter whether you're frying onions or making a curry, there's always this vague processed taste underneath. That's highly refined seed oil dominating your food. It's supposed to be flavourless, but what it actually does is coat everything in this subtle chemical taste that your brain recognises as artificial. And KTC markets this oil heavily to communities who traditionally use ghee, coconut oil or mustard oil for cooking. Those are stable fats that can handle high heat without breaking down. Soybean oil is not. It has a relatively low smoke point and oxidizes quickly when heated. KTC has convinced entire communities to swap traditional cooking fats for chemically extracted GMO soybean oil. Before we move on, let me ask you something. How many bottles of cooking oil have you bought on autopilot? Grabbed the same brand for years, never once checking how it's made or what happens when you heat it? That's exactly why this list exists. Most people keep buying the same brands out of habit, never realizing they're heating unstable seed oils to temperatures that break them down into harmful compounds. And the worst ones aren't always the cheapest options. Some of the biggest names hide behind words like pure and natural, whilst using the exact same industrial processing. If you've been using the same cooking oil for years without thinking about it, don't tune out yet. The brands coming up next make the earlier ones look almost honest. And when we hit the top 3, that's where the marketing deception gets truly insane. If someone in your house still thinks all cooking oil is basically the same, send this their way. One label check could change what ends up in their frying pan. Number 5. ASDA Just Essentials Vegetable Oil. This is ASDA's budget range, rebranded from Smart Price to Just Essentials in 2022. It's aimed at people struggling with the cost of living crisis, families counting every penny at the checkout, pensioners on fixed incomes. The bright packaging and rock-bottom prices make it look like a lifeline when you're trying to feed a family on a tight budget. And people grab it thinking they're making their money stretch further without sacrificing essentials. The problem here is that ASDA Just Essentials vegetable oil is refined rapeseed extracted using the same industrial hexane process as every other budget oil. It's been heated, bleached, neutralized, and deodorised to create something that looks like oil, but has had every trace of nutrition stripped out. The clear plastic bottle means it's degrading under supermarket lights before you even buy it. What makes this particularly offensive is that ASDA specifically targets people with the least money. They've created a budget range using the cheapest possible processing methods, then marketed it as helping families afford essentials. But what they're actually doing is selling the lowest quality products to the most vulnerable consumers, whilst pretending it's a public service. You know that slightly rancid smell that develops in cooking oil after you've had the bottle open for a few weeks? That's oxidation. The fatty acids in the oil are breaking down, reacting with oxygen, creating compounds your body finds difficult to process. Real stable oil doesn't do this. And when you heat oxidized oil, you're making the problem exponentially worse. You're creating a cascade of chemical reactions that produce aldehydes, compounds linked to increased inflammation and cellular stress. You're frying your food in something that becomes more toxic the hotter it gets. Number 4. Tesco Stockwell & Co. vegetable oil. Stockwell & Co. is one of Tesco's tertiary brands, created to replace the old everyday value range. It's designed to look slightly less obviously budget than the old blue and white striped packaging, using cream and orange colours that suggest traditional, honest, quality food. The branding says, good, honest food on the table, as if you're getting something wholesome and trustworthy. And shoppers buy it, thinking they're getting decent quality at a reasonable price. The problem here is that Stockwell vegetable oil is industrially refined rapeseed that's undergone hexane extraction and chemical processing. But what makes this particular oil worse is the marketing deception. Tesco created these tertiary brands specifically to make budget ranges look less like poverty food and more like authentic traditional products. They're hiding the fact that it's the cheapest possible oil behind branding that suggests quality and heritage. There is nothing traditional or honest about hexane extracted, chemically refined, bleached and deodorised rapeseed oil sold in clear plastic bottles. Traditional oil was cold pressed from seeds or olives stored in dark containers and used relatively quickly. This is the complete opposite. You know that greasy, heavy feeling you get after eating fish and chips cooked in cheap oil? Like the food sits in your stomach for hours and you feel slightly nauseous? That's your digestive system struggling to process oxidized fatty acids. When oil breaks down under high heat, it creates compounds your body doesn't recognize as food. And Tesco knows this. They know that creating a brand called Stockwell & Co. with packaging that looks vaguely vintage will make people feel better about buying the cheapest possible oil. They're using marketing psychology to convince you that refined seed oil is traditional cooking fat when it's actually a 20th century industrial product. Number 3. Flora cooking oil. Coming in at number 3, and this is where it gets properly shocking, Flora cooking oil. Flora has spent decades positioning itself as a health brand. Their spreads were marketed as heart-healthy alternatives to butter, lower in saturated fat, better for cholesterol. They built an entire brand identity around being the healthy choice. That reputation carried over to their cooking oil, positioned as a light, healthy option for everyday cooking. And health-conscious shoppers have been buying it for years, thinking they're making a better choice. The problem here is that Flora cooking oil is owned by Edible Oils Limited, a joint venture between Archer Daniels Midland and New Princes. ADM is a Chicago-based multinational with a turnover of £67 billion. This isn't a small family business. This is an industrial operation producing the cheapest possible seed oil at scale, then marketing it as healthy. Flora oil is refined rapeseed or sunflower oil, extracted using hexane, processed at high temperatures, bleached and deodorised. The exact same industrial treatment as every other seed oil. But because it carries the Flora name and health halo, people assume it's somehow better. It's not. You know that weird way cooking oil sometimes makes your kitchen smell vaguely chemical when you're frying, like there's this underlying industrial scent beneath the smell of actual food. That's volatile compounds being released as the oil oxidizes under heat. Real stable cooking fats don't do this, and here's what makes Flora particularly cynical. They've spent decades telling people that seed oils are better for your heart than saturated fats like butter or lard, but the evidence for this has been increasingly questioned. Some research now suggests that high omega-6 content in seed oils promotes inflammation, and that oxidized seed oils may actually be worse for cardiovascular health than the saturated fats we were told to avoid. Number 2. Pura vegetable oil. Pura is one of the most popular cooking oil brands in the UK. You'll find it in practically every supermarket. often right at eye level. The bottle is bright and cheerful, the branding suggests purity and freshness, and it's been a staple in British kitchens for decades. People reach for Pura without thinking because it's familiar and seems like a safe, middle-of-the-road option, and millions of households use it every day thinking they're buying quality cooking oil. The problem here is that Pura is owned by Edible Oils Limited, the exact same company that owns Flora and Crisp and Dry. Same multinational parent companies, same industrial processing methods, same hexane extraction and chemical refinement. Pura vegetable oil is refined rapeseed that's undergone every stage of industrial processing to create a cheap, neutral flavoured fat that maximises profit margins. But what makes Pura particularly insidious is that it's positioned as neither budget nor premium. It's just there. It's the default. It's what people buy when they're not thinking about oil quality, when they just need something to fry chips or roast potatoes. And that's exactly what makes it so successful. You know how some cooking oils make food taste slightly greasy even when you've drained it properly. Like there's this slick, oily coating that wasn't there when you cooked the same food in different oil. That's unstable fatty acids that haven't emulsified properly. When seed oils break down under heat, they don't behave like stable fats. And Pura has been in UK kitchens for so long that multiple generations have grown up thinking this is what cooking oil is supposed to be. They don't know their grandparents cooked with lard, dripping, butter and small amounts of olive oil. They think Pura is traditional British cooking oil when it's actually a 20th century industrial product. Number 1. Crisp and Dry vegetable oil. And at number 1, the worst cooking oil in the UK, Crisp and Dry. Crisp and Dry has been marketed for decades as the oil specifically designed for frying. The name itself suggests it's engineered to make food crispy and not greasy. The advertising has positioned it as the oil professional chefs use. It costs more than supermarket-owned brands, occupying that space where people think they're upgrading without spending too much. And British families have been using it for generations, thinking they're getting professional quality frying oil. The problem here is that Crisp and Dry is made by Edible Oils Limited, the same company behind Pura and Flora. And it's the exact same refined rapeseed or sunflower oil in every other bottle they produce. Same hexane extraction, same high heat processing, same bleaching and deodorizing. The only difference is the branding and the price. What makes Crisp and Dry particularly offensive is that it's specifically marketed for the one application where seed oil is most dangerous: high temperature frying. When you heat unstable seed oils to deep frying temperatures, around 180 to 190 degrees, they break down rapidly. The fatty acid structure degrades, creating aldehydes, lipid peroxides, and other oxidation products your body struggles to process. You know that distinctive smell of chip shops? That deep-fried aroma that's immediately recognizable? Part of that smell is oxidized cooking oil. It's the smell of seed oil breaking down under sustained high heat. When you smell that in a takeaway, you're smelling chemical compounds that formed as the oil degraded. And Crisp and Dry has convinced generations of British cooks that this is normal, that this is what frying oil is supposed to smell and taste like. They've positioned oxidized seed oil as the standard for making crispy food, when actually food fried in stable fats like beef tallow tastes cleaner and doesn't leave that greasy coating. The company behind Crisp and Dry is a joint venture between American food giant Archer Daniels Midland and Italian company New Princes. New Princes is owned by a holding company based in Switzerland, a well-known tax haven. These aren't companies interested in producing quality food. These are financial operations maximizing profit from commodity crops whilst minimizing tax obligations. Crisp and Dry costs nearly £3 for a litre. It costs pennies to produce. The profit margin is enormous, and that profit goes to multinational corporations based in tax havens, whilst British families think they're buying quality British cooking oil. If you want actual cooking oil instead of industrial seed oil extracted with neurotoxic solvents, here are 4 alternatives worth buying. Number 1. Extra virgin olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil is cold pressed from olives without heat or chemicals. It's never been refined and retains all natural antioxidants and polyphenols. These compounds actually protect the oil from oxidation when you heat it. Studies show extra virgin olive oil remains stable at cooking temperatures far better than refined seed oils, even though seed oils technically have higher smoke points. You want olive oil in dark glass bottles, never clear plastic. Check the label for the harvest date, not just the best before date. Olive oil starts losing quality after about 18 months, so you want oil pressed recently. And ignore anything that says light or pure olive oil. Those are refined products chemically processed into the same industrial product as vegetable oil. Brands like Filippo Berio, Bella Zoo, or supermarket own brand extra virgin in dark bottles are all fine. Just make sure it says extra virgin, it's in dark glass, and it's relatively fresh. Use it for roasting, sautéing, even shallow frying. Number 2. Coconut oil. Coconut oil is about 90% saturated fat, which makes it incredibly stable at high temperatures. Saturated fats don't oxidize easily because they don't have the double bonds that break down under heat. That's why butter and lard are stable for cooking. For cooking purposes, what matters is that coconut oil doesn't break down into harmful compounds when heated. You can use it for frying, roasting, baking, anything that requires high heat. It has a mild coconut flavor, so it works better in some dishes than others. Look for virgin or extra virgin coconut oil that's been cold pressed. Brands like Lucy Bee, Clear Spring, or Biona are all good quality. Avoid refined coconut oil chemically processed using the same industrial methods as vegetable oil. Number 3. Avocado oil. Avocado oil has a smoke point around 270 degrees, higher than almost any other cooking oil. You can deep fry in this stuff without it breaking down. The key is getting proper cold pressed or expeller pressed avocado oil extracted mechanically from avocado flesh without heat or chemicals. It's high in monounsaturated fats, the same type that makes olive oil healthy, and contains vitamin E, which acts as a natural antioxidant. The problem is there's a lot of dodgy product on the market. Studies have found some bottles labeled as avocado oil are cut with cheaper seed oils. Brands like Chosen Foods or the real food company's avocado oil are legitimate. Expect to pay around 8 to 10 quid for 500 milliliters. Use avocado oil anywhere you'd use vegetable oil. It's neutral tasting and stable enough that you can reuse it for frying if you filter it properly. Number 4. Beef tallow, lard, or ghee. Animal fats are predominantly saturated, which makes them incredibly stable at high temperatures. Beef tallow is what chip shops used to fry chips in before they switched to vegetable oil in the 80s. Those chips tasted better because tallow makes food crispy without leaving a greasy coating. Lard is similar but from pork. It's brilliant for pastry, frying, roasting potatoes. Your grandparents used this for everything before vegetable oil became ubiquitous. Ghee is clarified butter with milk solids removed, giving it a higher smoke point than regular butter. It's used extensively in Indian cooking. The key with animal fats is sourcing them from quality suppliers. You want tallow and lard from grass-fed animals if possible, and ghee from grass-fed butter. Supermarket lard in plastic tubs is often hydrogenated or mixed with other fats, so read labels carefully or buy from a proper butcher. I get it. This probably feels like I've just ruined cooking oil for you. Years of grabbing the same bottle without thinking, and now suddenly everything you've been buying is toxic. But you're not powerless here. The cooking oil aisle doesn't have to be complicated. You just need to develop a quick scanning habit that takes 10 seconds per bottle. Pick up the bottle, check the label. Does it say cold pressed or expeller pressed? That means it was extracted mechanically without chemicals. Does it come in a dark glass bottle? That protects it from light damage. Is the oil specified? Olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil. Specific oils, not generic vegetable oil. Now look at what to avoid. Clear plastic bottles mean UV light is degrading the oil on the shelf. Vegetable oil without specifying which vegetable means it's whatever's cheapest, usually rapeseed. Pure or light on olive oil means it's been refined using industrial methods. Here's the dead giveaway most people miss. Check the ingredient list length. Good oil has one ingredient, the oil itself, nothing else. If you see more than one or two ingredients, something's been added to mask poor quality. Antioxidants like TBHQ, anti-foaming agents, or dimethyl polysiloxane mean the oil needed chemicals to stay stable because it's already degraded. Compare two bottles side by side. Pick up crisp and dry, clear plastic bottle. Vegetable oil with no specifics, no mention of cold pressing. That tells you everything. Now pick up a bottle of extra virgin olive oil. Dark glass, harvest date visible, cold pressed from olives, all the information you need. The texture test works too. Pour a small amount. Real oil has body and richness. Refined seed oil feels thin and slippery. Real oil smells like the plant it came from. Refined oil smells like nothing or vaguely chemical. Check the price as well. If it seems too cheap for the volume, question how it's made. Quality oil costs more to produce because mechanical pressing yields less oil than chemical extraction. A litre of proper oil for £2 doesn't exist. That price only works with industrial processing and cheap ingredients. Once you know what to look for, spotting toxic oil takes seconds. You'll walk past entire shelves without needing to pick up a single bottle, because you'll recognize the brands that always use hexane extraction and chemical processing. And here's the final thing. These toxic oils exist because most people don't read labels. They exist because companies realized they could cut costs massively by using chemical extraction and nobody would notice. Don't give them that power anymore. Real cooking oil exists, you just need to know where to look. So what do you think? Have you been cooking with these seed oils for years thinking they were healthy? Are you shocked by the hexane extraction and chemical processing? Drop a comment below because I want to know which brand you're throwing out first. And if this video just saved you from poisoning your dinner with oxidized seed oil, share it. Send it to anyone still grabbing crisp and dry on autopilot. Anyone who deserves to know what they're actually frying their food in.